Deep in the infocrypts of Jovius, Curator Albus Tattersall oversees the maintenance and legibility of ancient scrolls and data slates alike. You stand before the aged adept and inquire about the forbidden lore that has been hidden away from the common man. These are the stories that Data Vault 13b houses. Behold, Lorgar Aurelian, bearer of the word, the Urison, Minister of Chaos Absolute, Primarch of the Word-Bearers. Behold as he leads his dark crusader host from the temple fortresses of Sycharis, bellowing forth devotions to the dread gods of chaos. He is terrible and magnificent in his ascended demon prince form, felling mortal men to their knees in supplication with only a word. His dark apostles rouse warriors into a zealous frenzy, each attempting greater heights of righteous fury as worlds burn in the wake of Lorgar's passing and the Imperium shudders. This creature, once the God Emperor's most devout and loyal son, now served the primordial annihilator that is Chaos. How did it come to this? Our story begins with a son rebuked and a legion humbled. When the Emperor's gene lab was rocked by a violent warp storm orchestrated by the ruinous powers and cast the Primarchs out into the wider galaxy, Lorgar landed on the desert feudal world of Colchis, where he was taken in by the leader of a local nomad tribe. Colchis was a massive world, 3 times larger than Terra, giving it an extended day-night cycle to which humans could not adapt. Thus, the Colchisian civilization developed a unique method for keeping track of time. The capital of Colchis was Varadesh, the city of grey flowers, where the religious orthodoxy, known as the Covenant, ruled with an iron fist, exiling those that dared speak out against the established canon. One such individual was Cor Ferron, a priest of the Covenant that was cast out into the Colchisian desert and left to die. Instead of dying, he amassed a small following and preached to the desert nomads. It was during one of these sermons to a tribe known as the Declined that Cor Ferron saw young Lorgar and recognized him as a gift from the great powers. Cor Ferron had the Declined slaughtered to keep Lorgar a secret, as he foresaw a way to overthrow the Covenant's sole propriety on faith. Lorgar became a student of religion, learning of the 4 great powers that Cor Ferron preached, but there was something different about this boy, as he espoused his belief in a one God, having a seizure-like vision at various intervals. These claims infuriated Cor Ferron as nothing short of heresy, and Lorgar was repeatedly abused, physically and emotionally, but he remained unquestionably loyal to Cor Ferron, even going so far as saving him from a mutiny amongst his caravan. Cor Ferron knew that he was no longer destined to rule Colchis. All he could do was advise Lorgar in matters non-spiritual, as his disciple had long overtaken him. And so began the conversion of Colchis, as Lorgar sermonized to the bedraggled slaves about the one God. Lorgar's followers swelled, and soon he stood before the gates of Varadesh and delivered a fiery sermon. The gates swung open, and the lower-ranked priests of the Covenant presented the corpse of the Ecclesiarch as a sign of surrender. Lorgar crusaded across the rest of Colchis, and less than a year after its total subjugation did the Emperor of Mankind arrive, as Lorgar had prophesied in his visions. Lorgar knelt and swore to serve his father and creator. The religious structure of Colchis was upended and made to worship the Emperor as the true savior of mankind, with a great feast that lasted for months held in his honor, though the Emperor did not approve of these displays of piety, wishing instead to rejoin the Great Crusade. Upon rejoining, Lorgar was given command of the 17th Legiones Astartes, the Imperial Heralds, though Lorgar soon renamed them to Word-Bearers. Unlike the rest of his brother Primarchs, Lorgar did not win the greatest victories or largest number of compliant worlds. Instead, they lingered on the worlds they conquered, turning them into bastions of imperial faith and worships, building temples and monuments to the magnificence that was the God Emperor of mankind. Slowly, rumors began to filter back to the Emperor, who was slow to intervene, but when he did, it was total and absolute. On the planet of Kurs to the city of Monarchia, also known as the Perfect City, and it was here that the Emperor would rebuke his zealous son. The Emperor chose Rebuti Guilliman and his Ultramarines to evacuate the populace and level the Perfect City to the ground, ordering the entire Wordbearers Legion to assemble in the ashen ruins of Monarchia. Malcador the Sigillite accompanied Guilliman to the surface to deliver the admonition of the 17th son of the Emperor, but Lorgar struck the First Lord of Terra in his grief. Rising slowly to the ground, Malcador sent a telepathic message to the ships in orbit, and a blinding teleport flash delivered the Emperor to the surface of Kur. With a psychic gesture, the Wordbearers knelt in the ashes of their greatest achievement. The Emperor told Lorgar of his failure, that he was not a god, and the Imperium was built on the foundation of reason and truth. Departing, the Emperor left the Wordbearers to eat dirt and drink shame, entrusting 20 of his custodians to watch over Lorgar and his legion and ensure that compliance was hastened. This event was the catalyst for Lorgar's fall to chaos, as the Emperor's desire for truth is echoed in the opening lines of the Book of Lorgar. All I ever wanted was the truth. Remember those words as you read the ones that follow. I never set out to topple my father's kingdom of lies from a sense of misplaced pride. I never wanted to bleed the species to its marrow, reaving half the galaxy clean of human life in this bitter crusade. I never desired any of this, though I know the reasons for which it must be done, but all I ever wanted was the truth. Lorgar would go on to transform his legion, outwardly presenting a crusading force that left a bloody wake of compliant worlds before swiftly moving on, but inwardly turned to the worship of the dark gods of chaos. Beings that Cor Pharon and Erebus, Master of the Faith and First Chaplain respectively, informed Lorgar that they demanded worship, whereas the Emperor denied it. For years, the Wordbearers worked in secret to discover the truth of the universe, and when Lorgar failed to get answers from his brother Primarch Magnus, he set out on a pilgrimage to find answers himself. Lorgar was drawn to the newly discovered world of Cadia, whereupon he encountered a primitive offshoot of humanity. Amongst these humans was a priestess of chaos known as Ingathale. This woman ascended to immortal demonhood through the sacrifice of the custodies that accompanied Lorgar to the surface of Cadia. Now, Ingathale the Ascended guided Lorgar through the Eye of Terror, showing him the fall of the Eldari and the birth scar of Slaanesh, convincing him that humanity would follow the same fate if it failed to embrace chaos. Vindicated by his discovery, Lorgar set about to corrupt his brother legions, sending chaplains to establish warrior logic and spreading chaos worship. Lorgar sent Erebus on a special assignment to the world of Davin, where the priests of the Serpent Lodge agreed to corrupt War Master Horus in a cunning scheme that would see him wounded beyond the ability of the apothecaries to heal. Once Horus declared his treason by virus-bombing Istvan III, Lorgar was among the second wave of the Retribution fleet. What the first wave did not know was that the Wordbearers, Iron Warriors, Night Lords, and Alpha Legion had fallen in with the War Master. After the Dropside Massacre, Lorgar attended the Traitor Council held by Horus, who promptly sent Angron and him to occupy the Ultramarines as long as they could, so that Horus might travel unimpeded to Terra. Lorgar planned to ambush Guilliman at Calth and neutralize the Ultramarines in a single strike. The battle for Calth remains the Ultramarines' greatest betrayal, and the mark of Calth still ticks away until every single wordbearer is slain. Lorgar left his Dark Apostles in charge of the Underground War as he commanded the Shadow Crusade alongside Angron's World Eaters. Lorgar pitied his brother and sought to save him from the butcher's nails that were slowly eating away at his brain. To do this, Lorgar brought Angron to his old homeworld, though whether Angron ever considered Nuceria his home is unknown. It was here that Gilliman caught up with Lorgar, and would have killed him if Angron had not intervened. With Angron's rage building, Lorgar began a coronate ritual. Using the slaughtered dead of Nuceria as the sacrifice, he ascended Angron to demonhood. Lorgar left the majority of the Wordbearers to fight across Ultramar, while he traveled to Terra to join Horus at the siege. There, the Wordbearers brought all their hatreds and frustrations to bear against the false Emperor, the one who had forced them to their knees. For days, the Wordbearers laid siege to the Imperial Palace, but Horus was slain before the palace could be breached. Retreating back to the Eye of Terror, the Wordbearers claimed the planet of Sicarus and forced millions in slave labor to erect massive cathedrals and dark monuments. Lorgar was awarded the status of Demon Primarch of Chaos Undivided for the atrocities committed during the heresy. Since then, he has meditated for thousands of years in the Templum Invisio on Sicarus. And so, we come full circle. The Wordbearers follow their gene-sires from the Eye of Terror as the Great Rift splits the galaxy in twain. Now, they will fight the Imperium that worships the Emperor as a god. How grossly ironic.